Hey listeners, it's Paul Andriola here. Why not join our community at Small Cap Discoveries, where we offer our members direct access to some of the best microcap investment opportunities available. Our members are getting access to premium microcap financings, research reports, and direct access to management. Sign up today at www.smallcapdiscoveries.com.
Hello, everybody. It's the SCD Zoom call. Today we have one of our favorites, Doug Vickerson, CEO of Renoworks. I have to state this is November 7th, just for record. But Renoworks, symbol RW on the venture exchange, 40.7 million shares, give or take, outstanding, and closed today at 26 cents for about a $10.5 million market cap. Doug, great to have you here as always. It's been a little while since we last spoke, so would love to get caught up as far as some of the updates of the business. But for those that are relatively new to the story, maybe just let's give them an idea of what Renoworks is all about.
Sounds good. Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Trevor. Yeah, it's great to be back. I see some familiar names on. Good to see everyone. Renoworks has been in the industry, in the building products industry, developing a software solution, kind of a platform for over 20 years now. And it's interesting. I've always thought about, wow, we've been around for a long time. And it's sure hard to grow a company. And Paul and team and all the people that you kind of hang out with have been massively supportive over all these years. I think it's an exciting time right now for Renoworks. I literally just got off a phone call with another investor out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and kind of telling the story a little bit. So what we do in the industry is we partner with manufacturers of building products, distributors of building products, retailers, contractors, and we partner with all those customers to act as an engagement tool, mainly for homeowners, so that they can engage with manufacture products and basically design their home, design a remodel project on the visualizer or the app that we put on the website. And over those years, we've created basically a tool that almost every single exterior building product manufacturer has our tool on their website. So we have over 5 million homeowners that come to manufacturer websites and use our tool to design their project. We, over the years, have tried to make it easier and easier for a homeowner to engage with our tool. And so we use various different things to allow a homeowner to basically virtually remodel their home before a hammer is lifted. So that's a very high level view of what we do. I think I'll let Paul ask me some questions, but I think if you kind of encapsulate what we're trying to do now is we kind of take those 5 million homeowners that are coming in at the top of a sales funnel. They're researching their remodel projects, and through using AI, through using data science and analytics, we assess those homeowners. What is the likelihood of that particular homeowner buying a remodel project? And we work in the ecosystem to try to connect that homeowner with the contractor at the bottom of the funnel so that we can facilitate money exchanging hands, homeowners working with a contractor, paying a contractor is buying through distribution that manufacturer's product. And we're helping to facilitate that whole value chain as an example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think for those that aren't familiar with Renoworks, and I know a number here are, Really, really suggest that you take a look at the website and really see what he's talking about. This visualizer is a tool because I worked in the construction industry. I know what it's like when you're dealing with a customer. A lot of things can go wrong because you're trying to sell them a dream, and they may have a different idea of what it's going to look like than you do. Anything you can do to sort of, help them visualize what it's going to look like is going to really make for a better customer experience. But at the same time, you've got so many different choices of products and different colors and shapes and things like that, that anything that you can do to help that customer make that decision is going to help that process. Doug, let's maybe give some examples of if somebody wanted to see it in action. I know you've got a lot of large name brands that are using the visualizer to help sell their product. Name some of the companies that you work with.
So, Sherwin-Williams, Certainteed, Royal, Royal Building Products, uh, ICO is a Canadian one. Owens Corning. We have over 150 of these different building product manufacturers. Some of the big retailers, Menards, Lowe's, some of the big distributors, USLBM. And so if you look at where we're concentrating, it's not to say we're 100% focused on exterior. That is definitely the majority of our focus, but we also do interiors. And really what Paul was saying, kind of the bread and butter of the offering that we have to the market is a homeowner or a contractor working with a homeowner in a sales situation can take a photo of either the exterior of their home or their interior, and within 15 seconds, our technology would trace around all the roofing in that picture, the windows, the siding, the doors, the stone, and create those different areas. And then the homeowner could click on those areas and virtually redesign, basically virtually place new manufactured product over those areas. And that, if you look at the typical time that a homeowner would spend on a manufacturer website, average time is about 2 minutes. They come to a website, and average time they spend on that website is 2 minutes. Using our tool, if they hit our tool on a manufacturer website, because they're playing with a picture of their own home, they're designing their own home, the average time is 12 minutes. And in that 12 minutes, we are measuring every single thing that the homeowner is doing. There's over 300 different pieces of what the homeowner does on our tool that we're measuring. We're taking that data in, and maybe we'll get into this, but what we've created now is what we call a predictive close rate. Using AI and machine learning, we've surveyed homeowners that have used our visualizer in the past, and we've asked them, did you do a remodel project? And they say yes or no. If they, under both instances, we feed that answer back into a machine learning algorithm, and then we can kind of get predictive as to what is the probability of that homeowner based on what other homeowners have done on the visualizer. This new homeowner, whatever they've done on the visualizer, we're able to predict with a form of probability as to whether they're going to close or not. So that helps the manufacturer, that helps the contractor, it helps us, help the homeowner as well. So I'm kind of getting into the weeds here, but the data part of what Renoworks is doing is massively important.
And you've yet to really extract maximum sort of monetization out of that data. You're still the business model right now is mostly the use of your tools, it's a SaaS type of model that you're selling mostly. Why don't we talk a little bit of how you generate revenue when you're dealing with these customers, these building manufacturer customers? how do you generate the revenue? Where and how are they paying you?
So I remember being in Las Vegas 2 or 3 years ago, and we really, at the beginning of 2022, that was the last time we had outside capital investment come in, and with that, we really invested in, parts of our business, basically some new functionality. And so where we are making money right now, it's exactly what you said, Paul. We're making money, quite frankly, from the ecosystem. So our customers, I've said it already, are building product manufacturers, distributors, retailers, contractors. Those are kind of the main four customer groups that we're selling to. And each of them, we're selling our base visualizer. So for a manufacturer, we do a little bit more customization. For a manufacturer, really only takes us about a month to onboard a new manufacturer. So we're making money on onboarding new manufacturers. We have a small implementation fee and then licensing. And I'll talk about that licensing, how that's changing. If you've seen financial statements, you probably see that the licensing number is changing. I'll talk a little bit about that. So manufacturers, distributors, retailers, we kind of call those enterprise clients because they're all multi-million, sometimes multi-billion-dollar clients that we work with. And then the contractor, there's about 200,000 exterior contractors in North America. And the model is different in how we get them equipped with our product, but it's a visualizer. It's a visualizer that they can put onto their website and generate leads, homeowners using it, putting in their information, engaging with it so a contractor can generate leads. They can also use the tool when they're presenting, when they're shoulder to shoulder presenting with a homeowner. And for us to equip a contractor with a tool, it takes us 15 minutes. We can customize it. We can customize it with all the product that they sell. We have over 350 building product manufacturer libraries. That's key because it's taken us literally multiple decades to get that, library, those libraries going. And so we create a visualizer for them. That's a pure SaaS model. We deliver that in pure SaaS. So we make our money off of implementation, licensing, and then we also have what we call design services. So there are a few of our clients that we really put on our white gloves, and we work directly with their homeowners to help them design their home. We do probably in a year close to 30,000, where we're working, in different ways, working directly with their home. So those are the three main areas that we're making money right now. Do you want me to skip to, I don't know if you have another question, Paul, but do you want me to tell everyone kind of how we plan on growing that revenue?
That's the next step. Absolutely. Let's do that.
Perfect. Okay. So where we see the most growth is in the licensing. We will continue to have implementation revenue as we onboard new clients, as we're always updating their library. So that's what we call implementation revenue. The design service revenue, I think that's going to continue to be there, but it's going to, with some of the AI things that are happening around design, I see that converting and growing more to licensing. So I'll talk a little bit about how we're growing our licensing, and that's quite frankly the most exciting thing for me. So back in 2022, we had a little bit of an investment. We invested it almost entirely in the product. We invested in 4 areas: our AI technology, our data science and analytics, our contractor solution, which I just talked to you about, And then we also got rid of tech debt. I'll talk about tech debt right away. Uh, been around for over 20 years. If anyone knows software, you have a lot of technical debt. You got to refurbish things. I've said to, if we had 15 developers, 12 of those developers were working on maintaining our existing revenue way back 3 years ago and onboarding new customers. We weren't really progressing the platform. So we started in 2022 getting rid of the technical debt. So now if I've got 15 developers, I got 3 people who are maintaining our platform and onboarding new manufacturers mainly. I've got a dozen people who are progressing the platform, adding new features. So that was key, and that's allowing us to continue to develop the platform. So that was really key. The other areas is AI, data science, and contractors. So how we're growing our licensing revenue is kind of a combination. I mean, it's all 3 of those. AI, that's where we've trained a system, and we're kind of the only one in the market that's doing it, and especially the quality that we're doing it. Where again, I said this, you upload a photo of your home, either interior or exterior, mainly exterior, and within 15 seconds, you're designing your home because we've trained the system to recognize the roofing, siding, windows, and doors, and not just recognizing them as areas. You got to recognize the pitch. You got to recognize the scale. You need to recognize the perspective. So there's a lot of intellectual property that we've developed into our system. And why our customers like that is it's very easy to start designing. Why manufacturers like that, and this is part of why we're able to start charging more, is that if we put it on a manufacturer website on our visualizer, we actually gate it, meaning we put a gate in front of it. And in order for a homeowner to use it, they need to put in information, email, first and last name, zip code, address sometimes. So now we've captured that homeowner information and think of that as a lead. And then think of that as something that we're getting all this data on. And if you look back, why are we increasing our revenue right now? If you look back during COVID times, no one needed leads. Manufacturers didn't need leads, contractors didn't need leads. They had leads coming out their ears. They couldn't supply any of the product. We're coming out of COVID now and many manufacturers are meeting with their contractors, and the number one thing contractors are saying is we need leads. And so the leads that Renoworks are generating for manufacturers are high quality leads. So not only are we giving all that, name, address, zip, but we're giving a whole bunch of data around what that homeowner is doing. We're actually calling it a lead pod. And, what colors are they choosing? How much time? What is the project? What is our predictive close rate on that? And so manufacturers are kind of going, yes, instead of paying $20,000 a year for your service, Renoworks, I'll pay you $180,000 a year because this is high quality. And if you know the industry, one of the biggest issues of this industry are poor quality leads. So our existing customers are upgrading what they are buying. So that's kind of the AI piece. The design, the data science kind of flows into that as well, because we're kind of coupling, we need AI to engage with the homeowner, and then we're using data to kind of give us insight into how they're using it. So the data science is part of what we're doing to all our our customers in terms of saying, hey, Renoworks has new tools. You have different ways to basically know more about your customers, the homeowners. Here's a tool to do that. So people are upgrading. So that's how we're growing. And then the other way, this is part of the ecosystem, which is, I think, really important, is the contractor is obviously a very big part of the ecosystem. You know, exterior remodel projects, 90% of homeowners don't do it on their own. They do it for me. They have some contractors doing that. So all of a sudden, like, I mean, this is good and bad. Those 5 million homeowners that are coming to the Renoworks platform, I can say out of, you know, maybe 95% of our customers are doing nothing with those leads. Zero. And they're literally, some of them are just, you know, not even going to a CRM. So now what we're doing with all these manufacturers is saying, hey, you need to get those leads to the contractor. And in order for us to give these high value leads to the contractor has to subscribe to Renoworks Pro, our contractor system. So we're kind of using what we're doing in the manufacturer area of generating leads to help us get connected to contractors and saying to them, if you want these high value leads, you need to pay a licensing fee to be on this platform. Sometimes contractors are paying us directly, and other times manufacturers are paying for the contractor. So that's kind of what, you know, how we're growing our revenue. We have other ideas of other ways that we're growing our revenue, but that's line of sight right now.
Mm-hmm. And Doug, you know, it's been, you know, I've been following the company for a long time now, and you're right. You guys upped your spend here over the last couple of years to get to where you are now. This tech that you talked about, and some of the AI initiatives, and some of these others. What does that spend look like going forward? Are you mostly done now, or is there still a fair bit more to go?
No, I think we're mostly done. If I look at next year, 2025. And, you know, let's say, you know, we just came out with a quarter, we grew about 10%. Let's say we end the year at 10% this year. And let's say we want to target next year substantially more than 10% growth. I don't really need to add much in terms of, definitely not on product. I'm still investing in product, but I'm almost investing in product for 2026 now. What can we do in 2026 that will even elevate our growth more? But going into 2025, I pretty much have all I need from a product standpoint to grow, you know, without giving away any numbers, to grow more than we did this year. And to grow profitably as well.
Mm-hmm.
I might be adding, you know, literally a bit more. And then even on the sales and marketing standpoint, we are investing more in sales and marketing. But a lot of our growth right now is happening through partners that are, you know, we're EagleView being one of them. They're still a very big partner. We're looking at a whole bunch of other partners as well. Manufacturers are, you know, if they're buying, if they're increasing their revenue, and if they're buying contractor licenses on their own dime for their contractors, it's not like I need to hire 20 sales development reps to go out and pound on the, you know, the contractor market. I think I'm trying to be efficient from a sales standpoint as well. Instead of selling one contractor for $2,400, I'm working with a manufacturer and saying, who are your top 100 contractors? Why don't you equip them with a Renoworks Pro license and they pay me a couple $100,000 for that.
Gotcha. You talked some numbers earlier, and I just want to sort of rediscuss this. The ecosystem that you're building here, this is what I always thought was a sort of unmonetized asset you guys really have. I think you mentioned 5 million people have used, the call it the visualizer or the system. You've got, I think I've got down 150 building product manufacturers or more. How many contractors do you have? Like this is where it gets interesting because I think that the ecosystem of being able to monetize the sort of transactions or the connections between all those three players is really what the ultimate goal is. You're chasing after how to monetize those different pieces, but maybe give us a sense of numbers. Where am I off here in terms of some of these numbers?
I don't think you're off at all. So about 5 million homeowners come to our platform. That's various partners. 150 manufacturers or enterprise clients that are using our visualizer to engage with homeowner. We have over 350 building product libraries.
Mhm.
So those numbers are right. We have about 200 contractors right now that are paying licensing. I've said in our investment deck, there's about 200,000 of those. I've heard from many investors, and I can tell you that we're going to start breaking out the licensing that we're going to get from contractors versus enterprise. We haven't done that yet on the financials, but it's coming. We wanted to get some momentum on and a little bit more of these contractors on before we start separating them. So you're right on track in terms of what we're doing. So I think that there's a lot of potential to continue, where big growth is happening, I think is in the contractor side. And I think a contractor loves it if, I pay $2,400 a year, I get one lead from a manufacturer, or if I generate one lead using this tool on my own website, that more than pays for their licensing. And there's obviously, if you're a bigger contractor, you're paying more than $2,400 a year, but that's kind of our base fee.
Mhm.
And so there's a lot of runway there. We're doing a tiny bit of work on the interior. Here I say we're focused on exterior, but if you look at interior painters as an example, there's 170,000 interior painters. And there's a little bit of crossover sometimes especially when we're working with contractors and when we're working with distributors, not so much manufacturers, but working with contractors and distributors, often they're selling both exterior services and interior. So we're doing a little bit of work on the interior to, expand our market.
Gotcha. And I mean, you touched on a little bit. I want to go back to this a little bit. The what's the fastest growing part of your business? There's obviously a number of avenues you're working with right now, but where do you see the fastest growth right now?
Fastest growth right now is and I'll say right now. So we've got, let's just say contractor. Okay, let's just say the contractor side of our business is we've got 5 different strategies that go-to-market strategies for how we approach contractors. I could list them, but working with our existing manufacturer partners, getting to contractors, that's by far the biggest part of where we're growing, is because it's all connected. The manufacturer has to upgrade their AI and their data science with us to generate more leads and have more interest. But then what that is also doing is getting the manufacturer to onboard more contractors, because it's all about getting those leads that we're generating with the manufacturer to the contractor. So we're having probably 20 plus conversations with manufacturers right now on that exact scenario, creating this ecosystem for them.
Mhm. Gotcha. Perfect. I wanted to remind everybody, we're going to open it up to questions. I see some questions have already come in. So if you've got other questions, just please use the chat function and we'll
Good.
have
How are
at
you?
it. We've got Vic here. Let me see if I can mute
No
Vic.
problem. I've just got
Oh, bear with me,
the
everybody.
presentation
Trevor is
from
usually
Renoworks on
in charge of this.
Paul's thing. Yeah, no
Let me
problem.
see.
Thanks for the call back. I just wanted to know
All right.
what's the on
Uh,
next hydrogen. How far
well,
are they along
no,
in being
Trev,
able
I don't know if
to
you can do this for me, Trev. I can't access
customers in
this.
terms of this new initiative that they've got for
Uh,
what the hell is it?
okay.
It was in
As long as he
it was
doesn't
in
start
your
swearing.
last
Let's
last
see if I can talk over him here.
Well, it'd be just like your kid, hey?
Yeah, exactly. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Okay, well, listen. Okay, sounds like it's off.
Okay.
The
Okay.
challenges. Why don't we jump on that question? I like to ask challenges that you're facing right now. You've overcome sort of the tech
Okay.
debt
Well,
and
if
the
you
stuff
find out
around
anything about it, I'd be interested in knowing
spending.
what it does and
Um,
what the
what
potential
other
is.
challenges are you facing right now, Doug?
Who are you visiting?
So
What was the
I'll
section?
use this opportunity to kind of, you didn't ask me this specifically,
Oh yeah,
but coming out of
something
23 and going into 24,
something interesting
cash
there.
was, well, especially 22 out of 23, cash was a challenge.
Okay.
So I'm happy to say
Okay, that sounds like a nice
cash
trip though.
cash right now is not a challenge. It was definitely we were working towards stability. And so if I were to say,
Oh,
in
okay. All right. Well,
2023,
thanks for the call. And
if
yeah,
I woke up in the
when you get a
middle of
little
the
bit more
night,
information, I'd
it
appreciate a
was because
call
of
and then we
it
can
was
chat a
because
little
of
bit more.
cash. I continue
Thanks a lot.
to
Thanks for the call. Take care.
I
Okay,
continue
bye-bye.
to obviously, I know I know where our cash situation is, but it's probably number three on the list. Number one on my list is how I think that the market is
Hi.
very, very ripe for
Okay.
Doug, hold on one sec. Hold on
No
one
problem.
sec. Vic, if you can hear me,
Oh,
you're not
sorry.
muted. You're not muted, Vic. We'll take this out when Trev gets a chance to edit this. But Vic,
Yes.
you're not muted. If you can mute
Thank you.
yourself.
I will
Oh,
do that.
okay, perfect. Awesome. Sorry about that, Doug.
no worries, no worries at all. Um,
So you said challenges, money is no longer an issue.
yeah, money,
Um,
it's not to say that we wouldn't have areas to invest it in, but
mhm,
right now you look at 2025. I feel confident about where the product is. I feel confident where the team is. I feel confident where our cash is. I'm seeing, when we have multiple opportunities of increase, I talk about increasing licensing from 20 to, 200K. That's really good revenue, because it's almost 100% margin, and it's a switch of a button to get, like, it's literally a switch of a button. We turned someone on from 20K a year to 250, and it took us a week to implement. So we've got our system. So if what are my worries? we need to execute on this growth. I was talking to an investor literally an hour ago, and I said, you know what? I've been telling Paul Andriola probably for 10 years, for as long as I've known you. Yeah, we're going to grow, Paul. And so now we need to do it. Now we truly need to do it. And I've probably said that before, but the other thing that I've said, and it's interesting that we're in a forum now with you, Paul and Trevor, this forum where, if Doug, when are you going to go tell the story? When are you going to go tell the story more? And we're very fiscally conservative. The board, we've had to be conservative. We've never had, a lot of extra resources, so we're very tight in how we spend our money. But when do I want to start telling the story a little bit more is when I've got visibility into what's happening in the future, because I don't want to go and tell the story and then you fall down or you have a bad quarter. I'm getting a lot more visibility into how we're going to grow in the future. And by visibility, obviously I know deals that we're working on, they're not done yet or anything like that. We're always working on deals. But I also know that instead of putting my money to grow in one thing that we've got to do, I probably got a half a dozen to a dozen different ways that I can grow the business. Some that are at my fingertips right now, and others that we're working on that might come into 2026. So you asked me what I'm, my number one focus is how do I grow top line revenue? We need to get to 30% plus growth. So I'm focused on that. So it's both a focus and we've been telling this story forever. We need to get there. I'm also working on, or we are working as a team on, you look at this ecosystem and you look at the opportunity that we have and the place that we're in the market and the data that we have, the data that we haven't monetized, the knowledge that we haven't monetized. It's a $450 billion industry. Can I do something on our platform that will exponentially start to monetize that? Can I participate? If I connect a homeowner with a contractor and I've fully defined what the homeowner wants, I've got measurements, I've got a material list, I've got a price estimate, I've got it so well defined that a contractor doesn't even need to visit the home or anything. All they need to do is bid on it. Can I get a cut of that? I've talked about that before. I've talked about that in the investor presentation. So we continue to work on things like that.
I mean, Doug, one of the things I'll say is you guys continue to grow. I mean, I think that's been the case here for a while. And I guess the question from investors is likely going to be, you guys have been growing your revenue and your expenses almost in lockstep. But now that you've spent all this money on these different sort of automation services and things, I mean, can investors expect that your revenue will continue to grow consistently, but hopefully your expenses are going to grow at a slower pace? And of course, then there's cash coming in, higher profit at that case. Is that what we're looking at now? Is it kind of the way it's set?
Yeah. Like
Okay.
you kind of look at, we ended 2022 at a 1.3 loss, 1.3 million. last year was around a 500,000 loss. We're basically break even this year, 3 quarters in. And so if by focusing on licensing revenue with the very high margins and our ability to like, it's not like I need to work 6 months to turn a deal on. I work on it for a week. So I think you can look, we want to be profitable. We want both. We want it all. We want revenue, top line revenue growth. We want licensing growth. I know the multiples on licensing are way better than anything else. And we want profitability. We just want I mean, we want to be attractive to shareholders. We also want to be attractive to other companies that in the future they kind of look at and they go,
a potential buyer. Yeah.
correct.
Okay. Gotcha. I mean, like, so, I mean, you're right. You are starting to eke out a bit of a net income. This last quarter, you generated about $70,000 in net income. And conceivably, if what we just discussed happens, where expenses are growing at a slower pace than revenues, you're going to have more cash. What do you do with that cash? Like, I can imagine if sort of the technology and the operations are now steady, do you start spending more money on marketing and sales? Do you hire more salespeople with that excess cash? Is that where the likely next use of cash is, or is there something else?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think sales and marketing for sure. I'm also going to say that I mean, everyone knows this here. And I don't think that we need to do it to the extreme. We've been very, where we've grown our expenses is mainly in product development. And so I think that the percentage of, like, if I'm looking to hire 3 new people in sales and marketing, I might hire, or maybe even more, 4 or 5 in sales and marketing. I might hire 1 developer now. So it could be, it's a change in that ratio. Because again, I think, like, what would allow us to grow more quicker. If I mean, we're still testing out the contractor market. I think our best go-to-market for contractor is, as of right now, is through our existing partnerships and customers and things like that. Going on, one-offs with contractor, we haven't hit a sweet spot yet. We have 2 full-time AEs, account executives. We have 2 sales development reps, so we have 4 people. But we're selling, it's increasing, it's profitable. But we need, I'm not ready to hire 20 people because we know we're still experimenting. But if I hire more, customer success people working with our enterprise clients, I can, I have opportunities to turn on, 100 to 500 contractors at a time with 1 deal. So again, all that said, so I think hopefully you're hearing that investing in sales and marketing where we're going to get most bang for our buck. And so it's not necessarily just salespeople. It could be partnership people, biz dev people.
But it's less of the product sort of development. It's much more the revenue development side of the business. Yeah, correct. Perfect. Okay, listen, let's jump on some of the questions that have come in. Greg here asks, what are the primary sources of deferred revenue growth this year? There's been a decent bump up in deferred revenue. Let's talk about that a bit.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I look at deferred revenue as very, it's a positive thing. What it means is we've actually we didn't make any announcement. It's kind of our regular business. But we've made a couple of significant deals, I guess. I mean, we could argue whether this is, press releasable. Often when we work with a manufacturer, they don't want their name mentioned. So anyway, we can talk about that. But basically what happened is that a couple of customers have invested substantial implementation dollars for us to do certain projects. There's one project that we're working on, and it's an AI project where we've trained a system to do new AI design. I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. Still confidential, but it was a significant investment for this company, and the whole project it's going to be about a year before we'll complete it. So we basically are able to bill 90% of the setup fee. None of that money will hit top line revenue because of IFRS. The only way we can recognize revenue is if the project is 100% done. And once it's 100% done, you can start seeing some of that revenue recognized. So going into 2025, you're going to start seeing some of that scheduled implementation line item that's going to start increasing, because we're going to, the project is complete. We're going to take it out of deferred revenue. It's going to go into revenue. Same thing with expenses, if expenses are in that. So we've had a couple of those large ones that we're working on. They're big initiatives. The one that I just mentioned is actually allowing us to get into the interior market a little bit more. And not in a big way, but in a kind of a niche way. And so we think it's good investment. So that's largely where most of that deferred revenue is coming. We do have a few people who pay for their yearly licensing up front. And so, which is great for cash flow. So that's mainly where we're, increasing deferred revenue. And quite frankly, as we continue to add new manufacturers and, as we're busy as a company, that number will, we're definitely out there drumming up business.
Really awesome. Okay, Russell asks, what value have you gained with the EagleView partnership, and do you see that growing?
Yeah, EagleView is great question. So I think it's been slower than any of us wanted. Slower than EagleView wanted, slower than we wanted. They have 50,000 contractors. There's many different strategic things, why, we've partnered and we're so close in going to market. And I think it's starting, like, again, part of, where EagleView is. I think we made the announcement in February of last year. Took us a while to get some of the marketing and the sales, the co-marketing and the co-sales initiatives together. And once we finally got it together, we were starting to hit the July, August, which is a really downtime to be selling to contractors. So it didn't meet our expectations, but I can tell you that EagleView and Renoworks are still extremely close in what we're doing together. And I would say some of the things that we're planning on doing in 2025, the measurements piece, you think about the ecosystem or the network that we're trying to create, starting with the homeowner, connecting a homeowner to a contractor, measurements are essential. So I would say going into 2025, some of the things that EagleView and Renoworks are doing together are even more strategic and more opportunities to monetize that partnership. And so I would say it's still extremely strong what we're doing, and it's taking longer than we wanted, but it will be a very big focus. We still meet with EagleView probably once or twice a week, every week.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. And then listen, Russell asked, what other types of partnerships are you looking for?
So the other tech partnerships that one that we announced it's becoming a very good partnership is Engage. Engage is a in-home sales tool, and we've done a really unique integration with them. So it took some development, but basically a user using Engage, if they've got a Renoworks, Pro contractor solution, they can pull in images, design images into their presentation. So, and they've got lots of partners. So the reason that I say Engage, they're a really good partner. EagleView is a really good partner. We are focused on what are the areas of technology partners that we're working on. There would be a group of companies, probably 3 really big ones. You could define them as CRM tools, customer relationship management tools, that they're pretty vertically focused as well. So they do CRM, they do quoting. Their quoting systems are connected to distribution, so they can live quote a homeowner and pull pricing information from a distributor. So how that works would be you could basically right from those technologies access your Renoworks Pro solution. So again, those partnerships are slower. We had hoped in 2024 that we would have had done an integration with some of those. It's going to take a little bit more development, but there's 3 major ones. We're kind of working with all 3. And the only other thing that I'll say on partnerships, this is through our EagleView relationship. You look at, there's 3 very big distributors: Beacon, SRS, and ABC. SRS was just bought by Home Depot, and they have the lion's share of the market share for building product distribution in all of North America. There's Beacon here in Calgary, where we're at. And we want to be able to allow a contractor, they all have portals, to order an EagleView report or get a Renoworks Pro design right from their portals. And for that, they need to be, have a Renoworks Pro license. So we're working hand in hand with EagleView on some of those deals.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the partnership thing, both technology and, you kind of get into, distributor partners as well.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. You've always said that that interior is tougher to work with than exterior. Are you guys still working on that? And question is really, how long do you estimate to make it fully marketable? Do you think you'll ever get interior to sort of work as well as exterior?
So does my competition listen to this video?
I doubt it. We're not syndicated. We're not going out to the masses. Yeah.
Okay. January 1.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, there you go, Russell. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to come the new year. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I told this story. There's a partner that we have. It's called, it's an acronym.
Mhm.
Anyway, they're out of the US and it's kind of like a co-op. There's 450 distributors that come together. They're a buying group.
Mhm.
And many of these distributors, they sell both interior and exterior. And I think it's going to help our cause very much if we can say you can do both.
Mhm.
And there's a really big competitor in the interior space, Roomvo.
Mhm.
They do extremely well at interiors, and we, quite frankly, don't want to compete against them. So what we're choosing to do on interiors is it's niche,
Mhm.
but I think it will open up a lot. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Cool. Very cool. And then I'll take this last question and then we can get ready to wrap up here. Greg asked, when you build solutions for customers, are they mostly custom development or do you also expand the existing platform?
99% of the time we're expanding the platform. So no one, it's almost 100% of the time. Like there's one customer, our biggest customer, that we do custom development. And where it's custom is that the look and feel, we can't duplicate the look and feel for any other customer. Um, but the backbone of everything that we do is ours. It's on the platform. Um, so there's only one customer, and all our other customers is, if we develop it, we own it, and
Mhm.
it progresses the platform.
Mhm. Perfect. Doug, this has been great. It's always fun to catch up, and it's nice to see this progress. What's what do you want to make sure everybody walks away with today? Like we always like to wrap up with a key message. What do you want everybody to remember about Renoworks right now?
Yeah, I think if it's kind of thematic, uh, if and I go back, if 2022 was an investment year, I told you where we invested. 2022 was an investment year. 23 was a stabilization year. At the end of 2022, we spent a lot of money, so we stabilized in 23. We wanted to grow this year in 24. We've done that. And so 25, we want to grow more and be profitable, as you asked us. And if you look at 26, we want to uh, situate ourselves where we can have, I hesitate, it's not exponential growth, but we can have in 26, we can have growth that kind of goes beyond everything, because we're dialing it in. We're not having to work so hard to grow. Maybe we're participating in that, we're getting a cut of a deal, or maybe our manufacturers are helping us to onboard 400 or 500 contractors at a time.
Mhm.
And so I think my last statement going into 2025, we're well positioned to grow.
Mhm.
We need to execute on that. I feel I have the tools and the team and the resources to do that. We need to
Mhm.
execute on it.
Mhm. Um, I've known you probably for 10 years. It's been an interesting ride so far, and we see this all the time. It typically takes at least 10 years to become an overnight success. So we're hoping that's what happens here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but no, Doug, listen, really appreciate the time today. We've been speaking with Doug Vickerson, CEO of Renoworks. A symbol again is RW on the Venture Exchange. One last time, Doug, thanks for joining us, and look forward to catching up with you soon.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.